Hello again, boys. Now, I got an idea, which is the following. I will post the video on Edmodo because I think the voice is not high enough for you to listen and watch the video comfortably. Now, as I told you, industrialization began in Britain and created a lot of factories and created and caused mass production. Fine. Now, mass production means producing lots and lots, maybe thousands, maybe millions of products. Fine. Now, because of industrialization, now countries like Britain, France, the United States of America, became so rich, right? And you know they began to use their own resources, their local resources like metals, coals, etc. Fine. As a result of having such rich countries, uh, people began to migrate to the three countries. So you can notice that if a country is rich, the rate of migration will be high, which means lots of people will migrate to it. But when a country is poor, rarely do people move to live in it, right? Okay, now I think you have never heard of someone migrating to Somalia, fine, because it's very poor. But it is very frequent that you hear that someone migrated to America, the United States of America, um, Britain, etc. Fine. So this hugely affects, the rate of migration to a country, which is the country rich or poor? Fine. Look here, we can easily see that industrialization influenced immigration. The industrialized countries needed labor, and people from poor countries needed jobs and money. Now, I may tell you an incident. Now, after the World War II, millions of people were killed, and factories needed lots of workers. So people from the Middle East, from the Arab countries, began to move there. Now I have lots of relatives that moved to Germany and worked there and stayed there. Fine. So those countries needed labor, fine, and the labor, the workers, like in poorer countries, needed jobs and money. Now, economic activities. Now, if a country has resources, of course, this will create economic prosperity, fine, economic success. The country will be rich, the people will be rich, fine. I will give you two examples. Now, oil in Saudi Arabia. Now, this is a big resource, fine, for Saudi Arabia. It caused it caused the appearance of Aramco, and later on the appearance of SABIC, which are two very huge companies that got maybe thousands or hundreds of thousands people jobs, right? Now another example that I thought of is Brazil. Fine. Brazil has lots of coffee fields. Now it is a huge resource there, so millions of people are working in coffee. Fine. Okay. And you can notice that whenever people find jobs, they're going to be rich, they're going to be happy, and as a result of this, okay, before as a result of this. Now this is a photo, showing Brazil and how rich in coffee it is, and here it's showing SABIC, the Saudi company, Aramco, the Saudi company. Now, when people get like jobs, they're going to be rich, they're going to be happy, and as a result, life standards of living will be better. When a country is rich, you're going to find very nice hospitals, qualified people, fine, and you're going to have great infrastructure. Infrastructure, you mean roads and services, fine. Of course, when there is economic prosperity, people will become rich and the standards of living will be better. Now, there is a philosophical question that I want you to know of. A lot of philosophers argued about the following. Is man, which means is or are humans, is man good by nature, or is man evil by nature? Think about it. Now, a lot of wars were caused by greedy people who wanted to control the resources of other countries. Fine. People tend to be very greedy sometimes. Now, the desire for controlling resources of other countries has created lots of wars and conflicts. The European colonization is a big example. Fine. The Europeans colonized India, colonized the Arab world. Why? Because they wanted to steal the resources of these countries. Okay, so in the end, I want you to answer the following questions. Fine. Number one, how did population distribution change from past to present? How was it in the past and how is it now in present? Now, what I mean in the question, did resources, the presence of resources, change people's decision about moving to one place or another? Fine. Now, can you move to live in Australia? Will you be afraid that you're not gonna find bread, for example? You're not gonna find very good juice or something? This is my first question. Number two, how did industrialization influence immigration? I spoke a lot about this. I talked about a country being rich or poor, fine. And number three, what is a possible misfortune when a country is rich in resources? What is a misfortune that can happen, especially if that country, which is rich in resources, is weak? If it doesn't have like a big or a strong army. Think about the questions, please. Again, I will post a video about industrialization on Edmodo for you to watch. And please read the lesson in the book. It's pages 90 and 91 only. Please read it and pay attention to the details that I explained. Thank you very much. See you soon.